Welcome everyone to the Real Estate Coasters podcast. I'm Harry and I'm with my co-host,
Dr. David.
Dr. David. What's going on, David?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm rereading Robert Kiyosaki's book, The Original.
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
So
Mostly because my wife is pregnant and I'm reading it to my child, my child, so that my child gets it.
Getting your kid on the right track. So
yes,
awesome, man. So this is our first official episode. I live in New York. You live in California.
Absolutely.
Let's tell the audience why the hell are we doing this? I mean, why real estate? I have my reasons. I know you have your reasons.
I have my reasons as well.
Why real estate? Why we live in the most expensive parts of the country?
We need to go back to why I'm reading Robert Kiyosaki's book. It started there back it must have been like 6 or 7 years ago. I read that book and I was like, and over time I was like, man, I really need to get into real estate.
Yep.
Started reading some real estate books, and I'm a dentist. And one thing that I've noticed is that I love dentistry, but we have a serious issue in this country, and that issue became much, much worse because of the pandemic, in that we have a staffing shortage.
Yep.
And that makes doing my job, I should say, we have a shortage of quality staff, and that makes doing my job difficult. And I'm looking at myself and I'm thinking, okay, I'm like maybe some of the people who can work from home. I have to go to work, and if I don't go to work, I don't bring home anything.
Yep.
And if I can maybe get to the point where I'm flipping some houses and eventually getting some rentals under my belt, I can not be so reliant on my income from what is a job and not an investment. And
I have to say you're in. So for those who've read Robert Kiyosaki's book, it's wonderful. He breaks people down into 4 quadrants. What is it? It's the employed, the business owner, the investor, the entrepreneur. I think that's it. I forgot. But you're in an interesting quadrant in that you're a business owner, but you're kind of an employee too. And it's kind of a double-edged sword, because you have all the overhead and then you have to act as an employee. So sorry, I just wanted to point that out.
I do feel like an employee.
Yep.
And I do, not only do I feel like an employee, but like Robert says, I feel like I am trapped in that wheel, in that rat wheel of going to work every day, the rat race.
Yep.
Because if I don't go to work, there is nothing coming in.
Yep.
My employees, they expect a vacation hours, paid vacation. I don't get paid vacation.
Yep.
If I don't make the money, I can't spend it.
And I'm sure your staff deserves it. I'm sure you have a wonderful staff. And
absolutely. I want to provide that for them.
Yeah.
But I also do want quality staff.
Right.
And that's difficult. That is difficult to find.
But I'm sure you're lucky in that the staff you have is very qualified, but it was hard to find. And it's a whole process.
And maintain.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And long term for myself, I'm like, man, I am breaking my body doing this.
Yep.
How much? Okay, I see other professionals, other dentists, other doctors doing this, and which is funny because Robert Kiyosaki in his book says dentists and doctors are in a terrible position, and that the cost of education is so high, and the return used to be good, but it's not great anymore.
Yep.
Because the cost of everything has gone up. And we are being paid about the same as we were 30, 40, 50 years ago. Not great. So long term, I'm looking to have some sort of passive income and another revenue stream, because just like that, my revenue stream was completely removed during the pandemic. I was told I got to shut my office down.
Right.
So supposedly, not only can I, not only can the government take that away, but this can all go away just like that. So
and with you look at the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, housing is, I think it's at the top of the needs. The need for housing, that's never going to go away. So being able to provide that, I think that's no matter pandemic, not a pandemic, whatever calamity could be going on in the world, there's always going to be a need for housing. And if you can provide that, then you're always ensured to have a source of income. So you view real estate as your vehicle to gain financial wealth, and I applaud you for that.
Personal freedom.
And personal freedom. It's going to take a lot of work to get that.
Not just financial wealth, but personal freedom. Yeah.
Sure.
And what have I done so far is I've been driving for dollars.
Awesome.
Been driving the neighborhoods around me. You listen to all these podcasts and they say, stick to what you know.
Yep.
And I know my neighborhood. I know that I can look at the house and I can say, okay, look, that's a distressed property. I got to get my hands on that.
Right.
So I'm currently in the process of trying to get in contact with the owners and get a deal under my belt.
Awesome.
So I guess that brings me to you. What brings you to real estate? What are you trying to do?
So no, that's a great question. That's a question we've been talking about. So of course it's a great question. Man, it's sorry, it's fucking late as hell, and I have an early flight tomorrow. So if my brain is turning in a weird way, it's fine. But real estate to me, so I felt like I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. And you watch people who've built wealth for themselves, and the equation is, listen, if I'm going to boil it down and simplify it, it's you take an asset and you raise the value of the asset or assets, or you create an asset. Look at all the great wealth that's ever been built. You have someone like Jeff Bezos. He created an asset, Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the Elon Musks. Look at the oil barons back in the day. You name it. They've either created assets or they've increased the value of assets. So I look at that paradigm, and I look within my own wheelhouse.
You didn't want to go pump oil in Texas.
It's not in my lane. It's not feasible.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm not saying, oh, nothing, I don't want to be a naysayer or nothing is possible kind of guy, but I'm a realistic kind of guy. I'm not going to start the next Amazon. It's just not in my wheelhouse. So I asked myself, okay, so the equation is acquire assets, raise the value, or create assets. I asked myself, okay, well, within the realm of possibility of using that paradigm, what can I do in order to be able to operate within that paradigm? And that led me to real estate, because real estate, it's an inefficient market. There's still a lot of room for competent people to get in and make money. And I feel that it is one of the few avenues that the average person, if they attack it very well, can do very well for themselves. I'm not saying that I can't go create the next big app, but I don't feel that that's within the realm of possibility or within the realm of my knowledge, or even in my wherewithal. I mean, it's just not within that paradigm. So I think, to make a long story short, within the paradigm of acquire assets, raise the value of assets, what assets can I do that with? Real estate. I can't do it with stocks. I'm not a market maker, hedge funder, hedge fund manager. I can't do it with software. I can't do it with a lot of things, but I feel that I can do it with real estate. I feel that real estate offers me the greatest possibility to be able to acquire assets and raise the value and become wealthy in a methodical, thought out, well planned out way. So that's why I'm attracted to real estate. And funny enough, I'm Eastern European Jewish descent, as are you, David.
Yes.
how many people, and within our world of Eastern European Jewish descent, it is kind of well known that within this group there have been many success stories of wealth
Yeah.
being created within real estate. And the reason why I bring up our background is because we hear about it and we've actually seen it, you know. And
Mhm.
then countless of other people I've met in my life. My God, it doesn't matter race, creed. I've seen
Yeah.
every single type of person like you can think of
Who just set their mind to it and they
who
did
set their
it.
mind to it and created wealth in real estate. Real estate
Absolutely.
is non-discriminatory. Real estate has, has every type of player you can imagine. And like you
It
can think of,
discriminates against people that don't want to put the work in.
thank you, exactly. If you put in the work, if you put in, your heart and soul, there's a good chance that you can succeed. So that's why I like real
What do
estate.
you what do you want to accomplish with this? What does building wealth for you accomplish? Why do you want to build wealth?
Why do I want to build wealth? Well, it's funny. I'm a hardworking, lazy guy. I love to work hard. I love to work hard, but I love to work hard at my own discretion. So I want to have the
Mhm.
freedom to say, you know what, wake up on any given day and say, hey, maybe I want to work really hard on X today. Wake up tomorrow.
Mhm.
Yeah, I want to just take it easy. Wake up the day after. I want to work on Z, So I want to be able to select how I live my life as much as possible. Now, listen, you talk about reality. It's not, everyone has responsibilities. Everyone has, and that's all great. I think you have to. I think it's healthy to have responsibilities and to, have people depend on you. But at the end of the day, I don't want to spend the majority of my day doing things that I wouldn't do if I didn't have to do them. I want
Yeah.
to do them because I have a newborn daughter. She's 8 months old.
You want to spend time with her.
I want to spend time with her. And funny
Yeah.
enough, like it's work to, take care of a child, and you'll soon find out. It's work,
Yeah.
but it's work that you want to do. It's different. It's a different feeling. So I think at the end of the day, why I want to build wealth. Um, yeah, of course, everyone likes to have the nice things, but that's not really my
Yeah.
motivation. My motivation is I want to be able to wake up on any given day and focus on the things that I want to focus on as much as possible. Um, and that's really it. And I also, I want to alleviate as much financial discomfort for my kid. I want to build generational wealth. I want her to have. She's going to have a strong work ethic. She's going to know the value of a dollar.
Mhm.
Want to remove as much financial stress from her as possible because I grew up in
You want to teach her the rich dad,
the rich dad
right?
philosophy of acquire
Right.
assets, don't acquire liabilities, be
Mhm.
be financially literate. I think it's very important. But that's really
And be able to live life the way you
as
want.
as much as you can. I think it's
Right.
I don't think it's realistic to have a goal and say just be on the beach all day and drink mai tais. Listen,
Sure.
even if you win the lotto, like maybe it's possible, but listen, there's always going to be responsibilities. There's always going to be
Absolutely.
stressors in life,
Yes.
and that's healthy. It's healthy.
It's
Newsflash:
good
life
to
is
have a
filled.
little bit of stress in life. And
Exactly.
I like doing difficult things,
Thank you.
and I'd like to have the time to do the difficult things that I like to do
Exactly. And I think
instead of
that's
the difficult things that I'm like forced to do because I have no other choice. I have
exactly,
to.
exactly.
Right.
So that's really what it's all about. It's you just want to be able to just focus your time on what you want to, and it's being able to focus time on your family, being able to focus on uh passion projects, whatever it is. I know. Listen, if I had all the money I needed tomorrow, I would still find ways to be busy. I know I would. And but yeah, but I'd be busy on the things that I want to be. So that's why that's really
And the reason we're doing this podcast is because it's to help us, motivate us to do what we want to do, kind of keep us accountable with each other.
That's right.
And to learn. Because if there's anything that's important that I've found is that education is really important. Financial education is important. Real estate education is important. And we're going to be interviewing a lot of interesting people on this podcast. And I think that's going to help educate us, learn from them and learn from each other.
And we're going to hopefully help a lot of people, because as we learn and help ourselves, we're going to help others by speaking to people who are doing really cool things within real estate. And, you know, it's really, I believe in karma. I don't know about you, David, but I believe in karma. And, you know, I think the more people that we, you know, inspire through our efforts, I think that's going to really just create kind of a flywheel of good karma, so to speak. So yeah, it's just you know, it's going to help us stay motivated. It's going to help us learn. It's going to help us help others. It's going to help others maybe help someone else. So I think, you know, it's really you know, multi-factored reasons why we're doing this. But at the end of it, you know, it's fun. It's fun to, you know, talk to people who are just killing it in this industry. It's fun.
And I get to see your beautiful face.
And you get to see my beautiful face, and likewise, I get to see your beautiful face. So, yeah, no, you know, I'm really excited. You know, for our audience, whoever's watching, you know, stay tuned. You're going to see a lot of really great interviews. You know, it's just, you know, it's exciting. I'm excited. So
I'm very excited too.
So, David, are we insane for trying to get into real estate in the most? Because I'm in New York City. You're in the Bay Area. What the fuck are we doing, man?
I mean, I don't, you know, I don't see a problem with it. I don't know how you're going to do it in New York, and you're probably looking at me, and you're like, I don't know how he's going to do it in the Bay Area. But to me, like I see the opportunities in my neighborhood right here, and I'm like, why aren't I flipping that house? Right, or wholesaling that house, or whatever it might be,
or buying home, or develop,
or buying the home and renting it out. There's so many opportunities. I see them. I think they're within my grasp, and I think that if you didn't think you could do it in New York, you wouldn't do it in New York. You would find a way to do it somewhere else. And maybe, hey, you know what? This is the Real Estate Coasters podcast. Maybe eventually we will do stuff in other parts of the country. That's not a bad idea to kind of
not a bad idea.
Spread the
efforts or the
effort around. That way we're not all just focused here. I know, like, there's all different laws in California and New York. Like, I know California maybe trying to pass a anti-flipping law, adding like a 25%. It hasn't passed yet, but it's like a 25% tax on if you sell the house within like 7 months or something like that. You may have to shift your strategy around over time, right? That's kind of the beauty of real estate, is you always have to be thinking. Figuring out, okay.
No, exactly. I know we live in some states with like some really crazy fucking laws here, and but it's not for the faint of heart, and for those who know how to navigate can do very well. I personally know people who have figured that out, but sometimes I say, I'm like, man, are we fucking insane for trying to do it in our backyard? But then, you know what, I think in the backyard, that's where the most opportunity is. So yeah, maybe we are,
you know your backyard,
and maybe we are crazy,
so
that might not be a bad thing. So but yeah, man, I mean, it's going to be a fun ride. You know, that's what, and you know, for the audience who's wondering, why do we call it the Real Estate Coasters? Because, you know, it could be a crazy ride, but a fun one. You know, with any ride of when you're trying to gain success, a lot of ups, downs, turns, topsy-turvy left and right. So that's how we came up with the name. We're like, what do we call it? We're like, well, we're on the different coast of the country.
Yeah,
You tend to get into real estate. Could be a crazy ride. Real estate coasters, just kind of like
yeah.
that. So, but yeah. Any parting words for the audience, David, in our first ever episode?
Parting words. I had a quote from Robert Kiyosaki. I don't have it memorized, but it goes along something along the lines of, "You need financial education."
Yeah.
And that is probably kind of the most important part that hopefully we can learn from talking to each other, learn from this, and get to our goals.
Yep. Are we gonna focus just on real estate finance or other finance? I think we'll talk about other financial topics too.
Mostly real estate.
Mostly real
but
estate.
you know, once you get to another level, you should be looking at other vehicles of wealth.
We'll figure it out, right?
Exactly.
My parting words for the audience: stay tuned. Stay tuned. You know,
It's going to be exciting.
It's going to be exciting. We're going to have really good guests, and that's pretty much it from me. So with that, I think we can conclude our first episode of the Real Estate Coasters podcast. David, I'm going to let you say it. Close out the show. Say, this has been the Real Estate. Come on.
This has been the Real Estate Coasters podcast, and we'll see you on episode 2.